Thanks, Ruby. And but due to time constraint, we can discuss with the speaker offline. So I need to control the time. Yeah. The last speaker of the post session today is Zhaoyan. Of course, you're PhD student in analytics and operations at the National University of Singapore Business School. Her research revolves around investigating how individuals use people, actions, and decisions influence operational process, performance, and outcomes. By delving into this interdisciplinary field, she aims to uncover valuable insights that can derive improvements in organizational behavior and operational efficiency. She will introduce so-called named should forms promote the COVID-19 vaccination to their customer. Evidence of economic impact from a natural experiment in Ridesharing. Thanks, Gigi, for the nice introduction. So today I will be talking about working. Thanks, we're back. So with a few minutes, but I will just start it. So today I will talk about the work that I covered with feedback from NTU, as well as Pavel from INSEAD on the topic of analyzing whether should firms actually promote vaccination to their customers. And we actually use a natural experiment from a ride-sharing company during COVID-19 times. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so here are some statistics of COVID-19. I think most people know. And until nowadays, I think COVID-19 has caused over 7 million of deaths and over 700 million of infections. And I think from the early stage of COVID-19, especially at the start, actually triggered a very unprecedented public affair. So people actually choose to stay at home. And if they did choose to go out, they try to avoid those kind of public transport as well as this kind of ride-sharing services. So, however, those kind of ride-sharing companies actually bring in a lot of different measures because they want to attract those lost customers back to their platform. So, for example, this company is called Kareem. This company is one of the largest ride-sharing company in Middle East. And they actually, during the early stage of COVID-19, once the vaccine has been pushed out, so they actually introduced this vaccination widget, this one, inside the app. So this widget, right, if you click on this widget, it will lead to another page, the next page, actually saying that listing all these vaccination centers near about you. Then, if you want to book the vaccinations, you can directly call inside this app and just book your appointments with the clinic. Then after that, you will just you can make the direct vaccination trips by just clicking here, take me here button. Then the app will book a vaccination trip for you. But please note, this vaccination trip is not free. You still have to pay it. It's unlike other countries that they actually give free vaccination trips, but in here that you need to pay for your vaccination trips. But this one is just you can build this widget as just an information nudge to remind their customers actually to get vaccinated. So the most important part of this paper is just actually during our extensive interview with the company, they also says they have two parties like arguing at each other on whether this vaccination widget is effective. Because some people may argue that if I can gather all the information from our customers and they can go back to the app and check all the information, naturally it will increase the engagement with the app. Then it's kind of a reminder to them bring their customers back to the platform. However, another party inside the company is just quite concerned about the liability if some customer actually experience a negative side effect from vaccinations, and after following some health recommendations from the firm, will there be any negative spillover effect to the firm? Right? Inside the company, there's two different parties, and according to research, actually, the social measures by business also have very ambiguous impact on their profits. So this is why a lot of firms actually feel hesitant to actually implement those kind of healthcare pro-social measures into their platform. And in addition, according to current research, there is no such evidence actually showing that whether should private firms actually have should promote those kind of vaccinations, as to them vaccination seems not directly related to their profitability of the business. And in addition, until nowadays, for most of the efforts done is mainly done by the public sector, which is the government. Actually, government has invested billions of dollars into promoting vaccinations. But however, the role of private sectors in helping government doing this kind of job is still under investigation. So, naturally, we're thinking that can we find some enterprise such that we analyze can private firm actually get benefited from promoting those kind of public informations to their customers. If they can get benefited, then we can encourage more firms to take those pro-social activities or initiatives in the future. For example, in case of future disease outbreak or things like this. So we hope to encourage more private firms to participate in those pro-social activities. And definitely, if they can earn something out from this, it would be better, right? It's better with them to join us. So our research question actually focused on studying how providing this kind of in-app widget on vaccination information actually affect the demand of those ride-sharing platforms without giving any monetary incentives. Okay, so we hope that if there is a positive profit increase, then we can use this sort of evidence to convince firms in the future to join those kind of pro-social activities. So here is a highlight of this paper. Actually, from the analysis of the natural experiments we have collaborated with this company, we actually found that they do increase the number of trips taken by customers, and around from 3.5% to 7.7%, which translates to around 50K to 100K weekly revenue. Okay, so if with this economic impact, what can we do is that we actually can provide some of the first evidence that public health initiatives undertaken by firm actually can economically benefit to the firm themselves, even if this firm is not in the healthcare industry. And in addition, we actually also prove evidence that to show that how public health related measures actually can be profitable for social strategy, even in the world after COVID-19. So with the we hope that with the participation of private firms, the whole social society, the whole society can work in a more efficient way in promoting those kind of healthcare initiatives. So here is the experiment. Actually, the experiments were done on 1st March 2021. That was the launch date. The launch date is just when the widget can be shown to the customers. And because of ethical issues, we cannot actually do a control experiment. Some people can see, some people cannot see. But what we can do is this widget actually go to all the customers. But what we can do is that because a certain customer has lower app version inside their apps, if the app version is low, they cannot wear the widget. But if the app version is high, they can see the widget. So we use this time variation in updating times to actually analyze the effect of widget on the trips. Then we collected the data from December 1st, 2020, which is 3 months before the experiment, and until June 1st, 2021, which is 3 months after the experiment. So we need to verify the first point as that we need to know that the control group actually can serve as can be served as a counterfactual to the control group. So I will use several arguments to prove this. The first one is that we present you guys a balance table. This one is just to show me that the control group and treatment group during pre-treatment period, the variables that we're using and the term of interest, which is the number of trip tickets. So from this balance table, we can see that the standardized difference between the control group and treatment group during pre-treatment period is quite similar. And in addition, we also did a parallel trend analysis. I think that's just a very standard things to do during the analysis. So we actually plotted the treated versus control group during pre-treatment period and post-treatment period, where the dotted line here is just the time of treatment. So you can see that the first panel is saying that we use the data of always with zero trip. By the way, we got around 4 million data with us. So those are plotted. And the panel A actually shows always with zero trips. What do we mean by zero trip? Is that for the 6 months running of the experiment, if you are recorded to take a trip using green app, then we record you as a customer. Then after that, if in week 1 you did not take trip, we'll just put a zero trip trip for you. And so we include those zero trips during our analysis to remove the condition that we need to analyze conditioning on someone take trips. So we actually analyzing the whole customer trip taking behavior. And the panel B actually shows always excluding those zero trips. It's only excluding those zero trips. We can see that the parallel trends actually holds, and in able to further validate the parallel trends holds, what we did is that we also did fitting a regression model to the pre-treatment data and observe that the interaction term of the group indicator and root dummy are insignificant. There's another way to actually verify that the treatment group and control group are similar before treatment. So model specification, especially for the PID specification, actually relies on 2 validating K2 assumptions. The one is parallel trend, which I already talked about. So we did 2 things, the parallel visual inspection as well as fitting regression models. Another one is that we need to verify this widget exposure as exogenous. It's not endogenous. So I will bring more arguments and more tests for our work to actually verify these statements and actually hold in our data analysis. So here is just the model, the basic model that we're using. So the dependent variable here is just the number of trips taken by the customers, where I is the customer and T is the weeks. So here we have control variables here, and the treatment dummy, as well as individual fixed effect and weeks fixed effect. So as what I said, we need to further prove that widget exposure is exogenous. So let's analyze one by one. So what causes can cause endogeneity of this widget exposure? As firstly, it might be caused by unobserved heterogeneity. That means that if this customer, I don't know, maybe something happens and put him more exposed to this widget, then the widget exposure becomes endogenous. So how can we solve it? So we actually use customer fixed effect, is that we actually focus on within customer variation. We analyze within customer variation instead of crossing one, so we actually can remove this. And second one is correlated unobservables. That means that if there is correlated events happening on certain group of people, for example, maybe there's discounts, or maybe there's government interventions that put more certain group of people more exposed to this region, then it becomes endogenous. But during our extensive interview with current team, as well as our extensive search online about the changes in the government policies, promotions, think that this, we cannot actually observe this phenomenon is happening. And another thing that some reviewers actually bring us whether there is inference issue, because it's often the question they ask for the natural experiments. They think that because the introduction of wages, some people, the treatment group might require more resources from the platform than the control group. So what we can do is that we need to we utilize the strategy adopted by firm about dynamic pricing. I mean, if there is any supply shortage, then the price of a ride sharing will become high. So by analyzing the per minute trip cost paid by the customers, we actually see that there is no significant difference on average between the treated and control customers, both across the pro-treatment and post-treatment period. So in that sense, we can say that there is actually no interference issue during the experiment. And the last one, I think the most important one will be the selection bias. It's like you can think that some customers will have the intention to take trips, right? When they want to take trips, they open their phone and update the app because they think that updated version may ensure better usage experience. So they update the app with the intention to take more trips. So in that sense, we can call this group of customers as intentional updaters. So in that sense, they actually update the trip with the intention to take, they actually update the app with the intention to take more trips. So this group of people is problematic, right? Because it becomes heterogeneous. So we need to remove this group of people from our data set. The group one unintentional updaters, essentially, it's just the people that update their own apps without relating to the trip taking behavior. So, however, in the data set, if there is no label says that this one is intentional updater, this one is unintentional updaters. So we need to figure out ways to actually remove those intentional updaters. So what did we do is that during the pre-treatment 3 months period, we actually try to filter and delete all those customers who have the trip taking records together with the app updating at the same date. That means, in this sense, we remove those customers who have the intention to update their app, then they take trips, right? Although from those big chunk of people, we might over-remove those unintentional updaters, right? But we think it is perfectly fine as well as we remove these intentional updaters and left with unintentional updaters will be good for viewing, at least if it is local bound our results. And in addition, we also did a robustness check to exclude all the first week records after app updates. That's because some people may update their app today, but they take the trip 2 days, 3 days later, right? We just remove those data records and do our analysis on this subject. So here is the main results. The first column is just regressing against all the control variables. The second column is regressing against the treatment dummy. I think the third model is just the full model, which shows the treatment effect as positive and significant. And by just do a back calculation, that we found that actually there's leads to an increase of over 11,000 additional trips, which increased the platform's weekly trips by around 7.7% and generated over 100 P week additional revenue. And the first column is just a way because we just removed the no trip dummy in that sense because if you include that one, it might suffer from equal bias. So we just do the additional task to remove this equal bias. And we also did a robustness check. The first robustness test is rely on the arguments that a lot of people think is kind of staggered CID treatments will lead to a bias estimate if there is heterogeneous treatment effect. So what we do is that we did a stacked CID, which is that we remove the actual week of treatment but replace it with the the weight relative to the treatment. So in that sense, if they are putting on a similar relative time scale, then in that sense, the treatment effect is still significant, but the size actually reduced. And just note that this number is just a lower bound for all the numbers that we reported the effect of the effect of widget on trees. So this number is lower bound of all our results. So the rest of the robustness test we done is all relying within this range. Okay. So the second column, and what I said is that we remove the first week data set for all customers, then we do this robustness test. So the lower bound of our results shows that they actually increased the platform's weekly trip around 3.5% and generated over 50K per week additional revenue. So I think due to the time constraint, I don't have time to go through all the robustness checks we have done. So we actually tested a lot of different things. First, in order to avoid other selection issues, we actually use regression discontinuity to test the data set. And in addition, a lot of people may worry about there's too many zero trips. Like for majority, they do not take trips every week. So we recorded a lot of zero trips. So in that sense, we actually use the boson and zero inflated boson estimates to actually do the robustness check. And in addition, we also relaxed on the parallel trend assumption of DIP. What we did is that we did synthetic control methods to actually further validate that our results. Lastly, we do, of course, we do additional controls and other model specifications, things like this. And for most of the empirical work, people are worried about generalizability, right? So they think, maybe the result is just applicable to this data set. So what we did is that we asked Karim to provide us with another CD data because they are operating in different countries and different areas. And we actually analyzed this data, data again from this geography. And this is the city from Asia in developing country. And it shows the widget did have the impact on the number of trips taken by the customers. So later on, then we try to explain how this app did actually increase the ridership. We actually developed a few hypotheses. And I don't think I need to go through one by one, but the hypothesis one actually says this actually can lead to higher app engagement. And this one, we're still working on this because it relates to the customer usage, screen time, things that needs a bit of time to do. And hypothesis 2 and 3 actually suggest to validate whether vaccination can lead to higher ridership, right? This direction we have proven is that if customer gets vaccinated, they are more likely to take trips. And hypothesis actually 4 actually says whether higher app usage can lead to higher ridership. And those directions we also prove that it's valid using our data set. Those are the hypotheses that we have developed. And in conclusion, we actually provide some of the first evidence that public health initiatives undertaken by firms can be economically beneficial to the firm themselves, even if they are not in this healthcare industry. So we hope to encourage more firms to experiment with promoting public health to their customers in similar contexts, especially we don't know how frequent in the future disease outbreaks one happens. And even now, I noticed that in China, I think China is experiencing some control outbreaks or the big outbreak. So if more private firms then that's hello, you're back again. So if more kind of private firms can participate in disseminating all those health innovations and treatment, how actually can help their families to get well back. I think the public health distress by the hospital has been resolved a lot because I know nowadays the hospital is very, very crowded. So this comes to the end of my work presentation today. So this paper was really online. If you are interested, you can just search. Thank you. Questions?
Very nice talk. So the first question is, how much of what proportion increases due just to the rides to get vaccinated, and how much is additional trips?
We did that analysis. Actually, we have the data column recording about the number of trips taken to vaccination centers. I think it's just around like 1 to 2%. It's very small. It's not that much as expected. Our initial intention was actually to analyze whether the widget actually can lead to more vaccinations. So we actually did that direction, the research, and we found that because the number of trips recorded in the system is just around a 1% increase in that sense. So we then decided to focus more on whether get vaccinated can promote.
The majority of the increase is due to other trips.
Yeah, because we did not record whether other people actually get vaccinated through elsewhere, because we only take the records of if they directly book the vaccination trips through the platform. Yeah.
And then my second question is, you're recording an increase amongst the treatment group. There could be people who are very anti-vax, for example, and say, even though I just won't ride on your anymore because of this, right? Is there any way to capture any negative impacts like that? How would we do it?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Currently, our paper did not tackle this. A short answer for you would be, we could try to analyze for the treated person if they are active users during pre-treatment period. After they saw this widget, right, did they continue or did they just get lost? Right? If we can analyze this percentage, then we can, I think we would answer your question. But currently, the paper did not get any exactly. But that's a good suggestion. I would consider. Yeah.
So if you have the data, so if do compare those get vaccinated before and not get vaccinated before, what do they have benefit?
Yeah, we did account that. I think it's just in the appendix is that we did that analysis is that vaccinated people are more likely to take more trips in the future once they got vaccinated. If they got vaccinated, they actually, but behind the mechanism we want to show is that if they got vaccinated, they actually feel safer to take trips. So that's the one mechanism that we during the analysis. Yeah.
And also, so based on that, I'm also wondering, so basically, so the more trips may come from multiple effects. One is get vaccinated, and then another thing I think more argue for promote customer loyalty because of the match.
I think you can see from the mechanism as we have several stages. App updates, right? App updates can push more people to actually see the vaccination trip widget, then book the vaccination trip. Then, in that sense, this group of people get vaccinated are more likely to take the ride-sharing app to use the ride-sharing apps. And on the other hand, our current setting cannot capture, even though the treatment group, right? They have this app updated. They actually saw the widget, but if they go to the vaccination center using other ways, we cannot capture whether they are vaccinated. So, in that sense, our focus is just capturing whether passing these app updates actually lead to a higher number of ridership. And in between, there might be other mechanisms working. Partially because due to the fact that we cannot get other customers' vaccination status other than just the people who use our app to book that actually precisely specify how the things in between is going on.
So it's not just about safety.
No, it's kind of nudge because it's the widget actually serves as an informational reminder, a nudge to actually kind of go back to their platform because consumers can actually find all the relevant vaccination information and they can also book their vaccination trips through their platform. So they want to actually increase the stickiness of just bring back their customers to use their app first. Yeah.
Was that any change between like
No, as what I explained here, the interference on is that we actually track the pre and post period the per minute trip cost paid by customer because this company is also using search index. So if there is a change in per minute cost paid by customers, actually this indicate that there is a demand surge. Right? Since this one does not change, actually means the supply and demand is relatively stable.
As for the stock, wondering if there are other major features changed to the applications. Other than it's a new widget, it's a new things.
No, there's no because during the experiment we actually did to we note we give kind of instructions to current we did not change other widgets. It's only the widget. So the difference between the control and treatment is just the widget.
Thank you.
If not, I think we have come to end of this session. Thanks Professor Hu and Professor Chen, Rachel, Linky, and Zhaoyan.